Hi there, welcome back. So today I'm here with Katrin from our RGA Network of amazing astrologers, and she's going to be talking to you all about the transit of Pluto in Aquarius today. And this March is perhaps one of the most important months of the next 20 years. And that is because the planet Pluto changes sign, and that will set the tone for your next 20 years. The last time Pluto changed sign was in 2008, and we all remember what a big year that was. So Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn thus far over the last 16 years, and in these last years, the power, which is Pluto, has been mostly given to big businesses and the banks. And things like Amazon have sort of gained a lot of control, and a lot of mom and pop shops have unfortunately closed. Capricorn has been where the power's at. And now there's this big shifting of power going into the sign of Aquarius. So Katrin's going to talk about what that means globally for us, probably everything from space travel to AI and what's going on in the Silicon Valley banks to what this means for you individually and your zodiac sign and your rising sign over the next 20 years as well. So I'm really excited for this chat, and Katrin is really quite incredible when it comes to global events, predictions, and also speaking individually about what this means for your sign. If you're interested in booking with her, you'll see a link on the chat below in the description. Also, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more talks like this. All right, take it away, Katrin. I look forward to hearing this.
Thank you, Rebecca. And yeah, this is I feel like the most exciting month right now, this March of 2023. There's sort of this shifting of an era. And yeah, Pluto, Pluto takes 248 years to go around the whole circle of zodiac. So such a distant planet. So why be excited? Why care about Pluto? And because, archetypally, Pluto is the deepest transformation. Pluto is where things will fundamentally change, where power concentrates, where there'll be transformation that's not just a little adjustment, but profound. I think about it as sort of like the butterfly, the caterpillar in the chrysalis forming into a butterfly. Like the change happens on a cellular level, like a whole new creature is born. The caterpillar dies and the butterfly emerges. So Pluto is really, it's associated with that sort of death and rebirth, transformation, and lessons of power. Ultimately deep empowerment, but oftentimes, it doesn't come easy. Like Pluto doesn't mess around. Like Pluto makes us confront our deepest fears. And that's how we learn lessons of power. That's how we learn, to face up to that, to actually stand up for something that we believe in, to stand up what really truly matters to us. So this is Pluto's power. And yeah, so far, from 2008 till now, Pluto has been in Capricorn. And it started, Capricorn rules the financial system, the hierarchical power, patriarchy, big business, as Rebecca said. And that's where the action has been. And it really kind of depends on the level of consciousness of humanity, how we approach these Pluto potentials. Like Pluto doesn't do something. It doesn't force us to do something. It's the weather, it's the environment, and it's up to us what we do with it. So I feel like humanity kind of missed the opportunity here with that Pluto in Capricorn somewhat. I was thinking, like, if I had to give it a grade, I was like, maybe a D plus. Didn't completely mess up. Like we're still here. Like we didn't blow up the planet, but yeah, we missed an opportunity because 2008, when the banking, the real estate collapse first happened, it was actually, there was a lot of interesting conversations about how things need to change. There was Occupy Wall Street, which was sort of the one, kind of a radical edge of that. But even in a very kind of conventional circles, there were, oversight more of banks, more regulation, more kind of seeing that things don't get out into excess, that there is sort of more of taking into account the interest of the whole, the interest of the whole country, not just the fat cats. But well, yeah, we'll see. We've seen where that went. It didn't really pan out quite that way. A lot of banks finagled their way around these regulations. And there was even something called the shadow banking system that sort of evolved out of that. Banks that are not really banks, but they move around massive amounts of money. I mean, shadow banking, that's like Pluto in Capricorn. That's the term we would think. So yeah, and here it is, the end mirrors the beginning. So here we are at the very end of Pluto in Capricorn now, crossing over the Aquarius, and Pluto will kind of dance with that cusp of Capricorn Aquarius for the rest of 2023 and even in 2024. It's mostly, very, very early Aquarius and little dip back into Capricorn at the autumn of 2024. So there's, some more of these financial kind of ups and downs coming towards us. So right now, yeah, we're in the midst of banking instability. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, Signature Bank in New York collapsed, Credit Suisse Bank in Europe, serious trouble. But all of these banks, they had engaged in some questionable, somewhat extreme practices where they were really taking a lot of risks, not being very prudent. And specifically, even Silicon Valley Bank lobbied to be exempt from some of these regulations that came out after 2008. So they were like, oh, this shouldn't apply to us. We're too small. We're too niche. We should get away with more. So, well, yeah, here we are. So this is how humanity did with Pluto and Capricorn, power concentrated to the top 1%, to the wealthy. There's even a term called plutocrat, a dictionary term, plutocrat. What does it mean? It means someone who derives their power from wealth, and who uses that power, that wealth, as an instrument of power. So, money buys politics, money buys, whatever it needs to buy. So yeah, this has been the story of Pluto and Capricorn. So now we have a chance to completely redo the world. We have a chance to correct some of the excesses, some of the concentrations, what happened in Pluto and Capricorn. And with astrology too, each sign that comes after, it sort of like corrects the excesses of the sign before. So if we think about the excesses of Capricorn, too much hierarchy, too much power at the top. So Aquarius comes in to correct that excess and, just pushes the power out to the masses, power to the people, much more sort of horizontal power structures, new ideas, massive intellectual innovation, tech innovation. So these are the themes. But I thought it would be really interesting to kind of look back at, historically, when was the last time Pluto was in Aquarius? Because, it's such a long, almost 250-year cycle. None of us were alive back then, but we are actually currently living in governmental systems, in societies, in ideas that were born then. This was like the most revolutionary era. So last time Pluto in Aquarius, 1777 till 1799. And that era, we had the French Revolution, we had the American Revolution, the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, the Age of Enlightenment, which intellectually, it was a serious kind of break away from the dogma of the church. To the thoughts like, yeah, people should be able to think for themselves, like the age of reason, the age of humanity in that sense, the humanness versus kind of divine top-down kind of church power. But we're still living with that. We're the heirs of that era. So now we will get to transform, to have kind of the Revolution 2.0 with that, the American Revolution. Yeah, but now what's the next revolution? So super excited. We're like, it's such an exciting time to be alive. But yeah, there is, Pluto brings this concentration of potential, the power, potential, plutonium, like nuclear power, like there's a small, like just that power to transform. But there's definitely shadow potentials there as well. So that's why I feel like it's really important to consciously kind of think about it, like, where is my role in this? What can I do to bring this transformation into the higher spheres, higher consciousness, so that we don't act out of the shadow potentials of Pluto? Because yeah, back in the previous, those revolutionary times, French Revolution contained a reign of terror, where one of the revolutionary leaders got really kind of full of himself and really just like, head full of steam, big ego, and he started just executing thousands of people. Literally, heads did roll. The guillotine was invented back then as a so-called humane way of killing people, efficient, humane, right? So thousands of people died during the reign of terror because, this leader, Robespierre, he was like, well, enemies of the revolution, enemies of the state. And I grew up in the Soviet Union when it was still, when I was a kid, it was still the Soviet Union. So these words really kind of resonate with me, the enemies of the state, enemies of the revolution. So it's really kind of a note of caution. So that's kind of, I'm like, ooh, we got to be careful for the next 20 years that power to the people mode, that we will not, succumb to these sorts of extremes, fighting for our ideas. We can get so intellectually, convinced that this is the right way. And people who don't think like us, who don't think like that, they're the enemies. They need to be eliminated. Like this is, that's the shadow side of Pluto and Aquarius for sure. The power of ideas, but the power of ideas to create as well as kill. So that's why we need to really approach this with some high vibes. But let's go into the potentials now for the world. And then I will also go into the areas that will transform for each sign. So yes, just make sure to listen for your sun sign as well as your rising sign. And I will do a little kind of look back into the, Pluto and Capricorn era, what has changed for you 2008 till now. And then kind of a little preview. So you'll get a sense, because it's such a, long period, like we almost need to kind of have a little bit of a perspective of hindsight to get an idea, like what was this energy about. But globally, the future potentials, like super exciting. Of course, huge advances in technology coming in the next 20 years. Anything from AI to really top level health tech, who knows, bionic humans. It's the sky is the limit, really. It's evolving so fast that it's hard to kind of imagine where we'll be. Interstellar flight, space flight, contact with conscious other civilizations, possibility for sure, because during the last era of Pluto and Aquarius, that last revolutionary era, humans actually started to do flight with the hot air balloons and different things. That was the beginning of the era of flight. So now it's like the next level. Okay, we're getting off the Earth. We're getting off, hopefully, explore the whole galaxy. So really cool potentials there. But again, shadow sides. I mean, who knows? Maybe not all the aliens are friendly. That's a serious potential. But also, with that, our technology, like we can also already see the trouble spots here. Massive invasion of privacy. AI could seriously displace and change our working world, and it will. I mean, it's not could, but it will. But it's how we handle it, how we handle this transition. Are we going to use it as a creative tool in the service of humanity, or are we going to just displace humanity and ultimately sort of become the slaves of the machines ourselves? So there's the two sides. There's the shadow potential. So really ethics and consciousness, super important here. And then the Aquarian era of social transformation, social structures, government structures. So we've had this very top-down heavy, the Pluto and Capricorn, even these very kind of patriarchal, sort of the last stand of these very, hardcore top-down leaders worldwide. So now, we have a chance of kind of a global consciousness, or more of a, respect for differences. Aquarian people, they're often sort of oddballs. So this new type of society could be something where each person's talents, each person's strangeness, uniqueness is appreciated and supported. And at the same time, each one contributes sort of their uniqueness to the global grid. So it's like this mesh kind of network type of world where there's all this bubbling up of creativity and diversity. And like, that sounds amazing. But, again, as someone, who grew up during the Soviet Union, power to the people, it can be done really unconsciously. The dark side of it is sort of forced conformity, where you actually don't, you're not allowed to stand up, be unique. You're sort of forced to be this gray mass, and you're really seriously repressed, killed, sent to the death camps, forced labor camps if you don't conform. So this has already happened in human history. So the potential is seriously there. So the social transformation also, really we have to be conscious. We have to be caring towards each other. So that's sort of the high vibe of that. So these are some of the potentials. So now let's look at each sign. see what has transformed for you the most and what is about to for the next 20 years. Like 20 years, it just seems wild, like to think that far ahead, but it's so cool. That's why I love astrology too. It gives us this sort of eagle eye view of the eras, of the future, of these sort of trends that we're living through. So, all right, Aries, let's start with the beginning of the zodiac, Aries. Wow, well, you've been a leader in your work world. You've had, since 2008, you've had the opportunity to learn about professional power, to stand up, to be there, to be the leader, to be the boss, and also confront bosses, confronting power, confront people who are not ethical. You've had maybe power struggles, and you've learned these deep lessons of leadership. So now, coming for the next 20 years, take that leadership capacity into your community. So you will really be one of those Aquarian, community builders. This is what the area of community in your chart, the 11th house, is highlighted by Pluto for the next 20 years. So yeah, start initiatives, bring people along, like you have that fiery spark, be that inspirational leader, and definitely weave these connections. And weave support, like Aries, sometimes you feel like you have to do it all by myself. You don't really. It's like you have your buddies, you have your tribe, like lean on your tribe and be that leader. So that's, it'll be a very social, amazing time for you the next 20 years. All right, Taurus. Well, Taurus, you've had for the past 16 years, you've been on this powerful transformational learning journey. You've had opportunities to travel into places of power, these sort of spiritual deep learning, higher learning, maybe you've gotten some cool degrees, but also just this wisdom. You've acquired wisdom, and you've been able to already kind of share and start to, teach in some way, be that advisor. But mostly you've been just this student of the highest order. And now, okay, what you learned, these powerful transformations, time to take that and use it in your professional life. Be the leader, be the grounded leader. Like, I feel like really it's kind of great that, Taurus is getting that hit in their 10th house, that professional era, because we need grounded leadership in this time. Otherwise, we'll be just kind of floating up into outer space. So we need to kind of, feet on the earth to Taurus. So your time to lead, your time to be the boss. Okay, Gemini. Well, air signs, Geminis, you're going to have a great time because this energy, Pluto in Aquarius, air sign to air. So you will have actually kind of easier time with this, I would say. For the past 16 years, you've had a chance to really actually learn about money and power, learn about investments. Hopefully you've been one of the few that's actually benefited from this, run up in stock prices, asset prices, this Pluto and Capricorn era. You've probably been actually on the winning side. Been able to play there in the big leagues. So now, okay, take your winnings and use them for expanding your mind. Education, use to, share your wisdom, travel, be that sort of a global gypsy that you love to be. And connect with other communities, connect with, people, weaving these web of power. You will be able to attract amazing people into your life through these travels. Okay, Cancer. Well, Cancer, dear Cancer, you have had actually a pretty tough time with this past, Pluto in Capricorn era, because Pluto, that power struggles, this deep transformation, death and rebirth, has been in your relationship area of your chart. So not the easiest place to host this sort of Plutonic energy. So, your relationships, you've probably had some troubles where, arguments, transformations, perhaps even deeper betrayals, but, where you've learned to carry yourself and see like what really matters to me, sometimes had to draw boundaries, get tough. So there's been some serious lessons. So I think you will be so glad that Pluto is out of there. But next 20 years, Pluto will move into your 8th house. So you will be able to learn to rebuild trust and to, trust in humanity, trust in the universe, not the kind of naive, blind trust, but trust that comes from experience. and you will be able to attract resources, attract support, attract finances to your projects. There's a lot of support for you, and you're our magnet. You will be this magnet of attraction. So just, yeah, trust your gut, trust your intuition with that. Okay, Leo, fire sign. Well, Leo, you've been on a health kick for the past, 16 years. You've had the discipline to really, probably maybe, face some health issues too that kicked you on that path. But yeah, serious discipline. Pluto, you've like just taken your daily routine apart, learned about your habits, learned about your bad habits, shadow habits, where do your addictions come from, and have been really just transforming your body, your health, your daily routines are so different now. And that's awesome. So you're in such a good shape. Now, that fabulously good shape, you can, take that power into relationships. So Pluto will be in your 7th house. I feel like probably this will be a little easier than your Cancer, Cancer's had that time. But, if you have Cancer friends, you can consult with them. But you will be hosting Pluto in your 7th house. So yeah, if you attract a relationship, it'll be real power couple type of thing. Powerful transformation through relationships, potential to go really deep with each other. And, if the person's not willing to go deep, yeah, to be brave enough to break it up and to actually look for what you truly want. And also, Leo, you kind of attract the spotlight naturally, but, now it's like Pluto in the 7th, like, yeah, give some power, give some respect and spotlight to your partner as well. Allow them to kind of be an equal to you. So that will be an interesting dance for you to go through. Okay, Virgo, our earth signs. Yeah, Virgo, you've had this massively creative time for the past 16 years. You've actually really, Pluto and Capricorn has actually, yeah, for a fellow earth sign, has been quite kind to you. So you've had powerful creative breakthroughs, really, learned how to create your world. If you're in a creative industry, you've been successful in your career, but even, in your life, like to kind of get that deeper sense that you are the creator of your life. So that's been Pluto's gift to you, that deep creative power. Now it's like, okay, Pluto goes into your 6th house. For the next 20 years, it's time to take that creative power and use it as a service, gift it to others, be a mentor, be practical ways of offering service. And, also, yeah, that health kick, that Leo went through. So you will be, and actually, I was just thinking for you, like the health tech, Aquarius, yeah, like all these amazing stuff that's coming out, you can monitor every bit of vital signs. And I feel like you're going to have super fun with that, just really hack your health. And you'll be one of those people who's going to live to be 200. So yeah, I'm, excited to follow my Virgo friends. All right, Libras, the past 16 years have been about healing your roots, transforming your family patterns, becoming that powerful presence in your family, sometimes saying the tough truths that need to be said, but, really, transforming the base of your earthly root system. Now all that tough work is done, and it's time to enjoy. You're going to host Pluto in your creative house, in the 5th house. So, powerful creativity, and also love. 5th house also is, has to do with falling in love. So you would have those powerful soul transforming love affairs. So that's really something fun to look forward to for Libras. Okay, Scorpios. Scorpio, you're kind of most familiar with the Pluto energy. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So you're not afraid of Pluto. You're kind of like, bring it on. So where you've been hosting Pluto for 16 years is 3rd house. So the power of your words. You've been a powerful negotiator, for yourself, yes, but also learning to kind of use your words to advocate for others, to speak up when there's abuses of power, to, really bring that element of truth telling into your conversations. Certainly my Scorpio friends have been doing that to the max. And now you're taking that deep power and bringing that to your roots, to your family, and to your base of power. So yeah, you can build a powerful base for yourself, as a community. This is Aquarian energy. So if your own family has been less than perfect, then it's like, yeah, build that soul family, build that new root system. You know, it's have your roots spread and wide and feel that support that you know, you're not alone, you have the soul family. Sagittarius, okay, fire signs. Yeah, Sagittarius, you're actually one of the people too, sort of like Gemini. Yeah, you Gemini and Sag have been kind of, I think, some of the winners in this Pluto and Capricorn era, because you know the Pluto has been in their financial houses. For Saggy, it's your second house. So yeah, you've been able to rake in some cash. You've been able to position yourself well, and you know, yeah, sometimes, yeah, step up to power, you know, having to prove your value. But yeah, if you negotiated salary, negotiated bonuses, likely you've had some luck with that. You've been able to build a nice nest egg, you know, and kind of understand what your worth is truly. So now, okay, you got that nest egg. So now for the Aquarian era, for the next 20 years, learn the power of your words. You know, you are that storyteller of the universe. So learn to use your words for the good of all. You know, advocate for others. You've done well for yourself. So now advocate for others, speak up, share, have powerful transformative conversations, negotiate, you know, if you're at work, like, you know, negotiate a good salary for yourself, but like, oh, what about everybody? Yeah, let's get everybody a raise, you know? So yeah, use that inspirational Saggy power to benefit all. Capricorns, well, Capricorns, you've had Pluto in your own sign. So that's been, you know, it's actually, yeah, because Pluto goes around 249. So not, you know, not every sign is going to actually get that. Not every person gets that in their own sign. So you've been kind of one of the lucky ones, or if you consider unlucky. But ultimately, it's been a transformational, deeply powerful time. You've learned about your own power, and not, you know, you might define yourself as powerful, but based on your position or based on your salary or respect that other people give you. But this has been like, you know, you've gone through some turmoil too, some ups and downs, and some deep, you know, confrontations with power. Perhaps you've lost some of those symbols of power. Maybe you lost your jobs or lost your business and had to rebuild it from the ground up. So it's sort of like that power that is not destroyed no matter what happens, like that deep, I love, you know, there's a Hawaiian word for it, mana, which is the spiritual power, that is the indestructible power. So this is the kind of power that ultimately you've gained from this you know, hosting Pluto in your sign. And now, you know, for the next 20 years, yeah, time to put that mana to work, you know, take that spiritual power, take that centeredness, that strength, and use it in your professional realm. You know, build a company, you know, that's really egalitarian, that is benefiting all and benefits you handsomely as well. You will be in the position of, you know, you'll be one of the business creators of this new era. So you can revolutionize the whole business world, which is super awesome. Okay, Aquarius. Well, Aquarians, you know, you will get to host Pluto, but Aquarius, you know, a little look back, you have actually had deep spiritual transformations. Perhaps, you know, outwardly a little more quiet, but inwardly deep inner work, deep dreams, you know, and facing your most profound fears. You know, like you've probably gone to therapy or some other kind of transformational practice, maybe learned, you know, to be a therapist yourself, but it's like that deep inner transformation, like that whole butterfly cellular metamorphosis going on in your inner world. And you're just a different person now. You're so much more powerful. And now it's like, okay, you know, Pluto is in your sign. You will be hosting Pluto. You will be hosting power. You will be magnetic. So you, again, you know, one of the leaders, one of the sort of avatars of this new era. So you know, just you be you ultimately, but be you in that, you know, coming from that place of power and from that place of, again, you know, collective, for the good of the collective. You know, you are one of the leaders of this era. And, you know, I'm excited to follow my Aquarian friends, see what they're up to. And Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Well, the past 16 years, you hosted Pluto in your 11th house. So you've had actually interesting, powerful encounters with your friends and community building, that power of the community. So you've been actually practicing that already. So this is super cool. So you've been weaving your tribe, trying to connect with like-minded people, and being also really supportive of others. you know, sometimes through, yeah, like this Plutonian events like disasters or something bad happens where you have to kind of be that person to weave community, and you've learned some deep lessons in that, the contribution. So now the next 20 years, it's very interesting because, you know, Pluto will be in your 12th house. So it'll be like a little more quiet actually for you, but you'll be kind of that meditative space, you know, deep inner transformation, inner work, but also you will be kind of hosting, you know, holding that space of peace for others, you know, to do that, you know, that whole social transformation, like, you know, all this up and down. And you will be kind of like the Zen mountain in the middle, like, you know, holding the space for shifts of consciousness. So people can turn to you when they need kind of that spiritual, that moment of quiet, that you'll be, you know, that type of, you know, not even necessarily teaching, but just your presence, like that powerful presence. So, wow, go Pisces. So exciting times for all of us. And ultimately, really, the you know, the few takeaways is like, yeah, we are not alone. This is really the time where power comes through community, power comes through connections. So, you know, really very personally see who's in your network, who's in your tribe, and reach out, connect, and also just offer your support, offer your contribution. You know, online communities, and thankfully now that all the lockdowns are over, actual real, you know, human connections communities as well. So yeah, let's weave this wonderful world together. I'm so excited. I'm glad to be alive at this time.
Hi, Katrin. That was incredible. Popping back in here. Wasn't that amazing, everyone who's listening? I have to say, Katrin, I was just like on the edge of my seat with each sun sign and rising sign. And for those of you that have been listening, you know, listen for both and put both stories together, right, Katrin? They can listen to their sun and their rising and really blend the story. Well, this is happening. We're recording this now on the 16th. And of course, Pluto goes into Aquarius on the 23rd. Katrin, thank you so much for taking the time to do all of this great research and exploration. Isn't she a master of her craft? I just love to hear Katrin talk about historical cycles, what's going on for each sign. And you'll see the timestamps below if you want to find your sign, of course. You can just go right to that as well. And you can book a reading with Katrin, as she is one of the amazing astrologers in our very small but mighty network of astrologers now. So she also is available for mentorships, coaching sessions, things like that as well. And you can check all of that out with her. I love the final message you had at the end with Pluto and Aquarius. Those of you that have other ideas for Pluto and Aquarius, please feel free to chime into the chat. She and I will be active in the chat with you and would love to have more Pluto and Aquarius like conversations about the future as we are here for the unfolding. So thanks again, and we will see you all back in our next edition. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.